What's happening, Hot Wheelers? Joe Motor here. Welcome back to the Motorhood. I know it's been a long time, so I hope everyone is doing okay. I want to thank you for continuing to check out the videos, even though they're pretty old at this point. But I'm going to do a quick video here, or I don't know if it's going to be quick or not, but I'm going to show you some pieces in the package that I've had laying around here for a while. They kind of span a few different brands. Some of them are interesting, some of them are common, so just thought I'd spend a little time here to show you these. And if you happen to be watching this video close to the time it was made, I'm actually going to be selling the pieces on display today. I just don't have the heart to crack these open and put them in my display case because I don't have the room. So there's some downsizing going on in the Joe Motorhood, and there's some really cool pieces here that it pains me to let them go, but it's time to let them go and go to a collection that will appreciate them and display them and so forth. So that's kind of what's happening. And of course, I know eBay is not the best place or the most desirable place for anybody, but it just seems to be the only place where the most people can see the listings. So if you're interested, if you're watching this video close to when it was made, you can follow me on eBay. It's Jasper49. It's Jasper 49. Put it up on the screen here. So if you're interested, you can follow me there if you want to own a piece of the Motorhood. I will be putting up some more stuff on my eBay listings than this. I'm just trying to downsize a little bit. So if you're interested in keeping a line open to own a car or two from the Motorhood, follow me over there, and you might find something you like. But for those of you not interested or not in the market for some new die-cast 1/64 scale, you can just enjoy this little slideshow here. I'm going to show you a few different pieces that I've collected over the past several years, and they've been sitting in a box, and so it's time to get them out, show them off, and then let them go into the world. This first one here is a really cool piece by Shuko. This is a brand that's gotten a lot more popular in the last few years, and other collectors and YouTubers have shown different models, but this one I had to pick up just because my orange is kind of one of my favorite colors, and of course vintage racing has been my focus and my collection over the last several years. I can't believe it's been over 10 years now of collecting 1/64 die-cast. But this is a Shuko. It comes in a really nice sort of car keeper, and what I like about this particular series, it's a special edition, is you can take it out of the package without damaging the package, and that's one of my favorite things about this series. I'm not going to do it all right now, but you can kind of see it comes apart, and then you can take the car out and display it, and then you can save the package without damaging it, which I really enjoy. That it's just more bang for your buck if you're a collector, in my opinion. But this is the 1973 Rally Monte Carlo, the Jägermeister colorway and tampos, the number 255 here. It's really, really cool. It's got a lot of great detail, even the sort of license plate there, the front headlights, the tampos go all the way around, the details around the windows, the trim, the tail lights, all of it is really beautiful, and it comes with a sort of collector shipping box there on the bottom. I'll show you the back really quick here so you can see that. And of course the model is the 2002, the BMW, not the year, but the model. So there's the back of that. So this is a really cool special edition piece, and I'm so tempted to take this out and put it in my collection, but I feel like someone out there might need to have this in their collection. So that's something that's going to be going up in a listing. Another piece here that's pretty rare that you don't see very often. This one's more red than it is orange. I'm not sure if that's coming across, but this is manufactured by Greenlight, but it's released by DDA Collectibles, and it's mostly focused in the Australian market. And so this was released in the Melbourne Toy Fair of 2019 as an exclusive model, the 69 Ford Mustang Boss 302, one of my favorite just cars in general, just a really bad looking machine there. But this is the Sid Chrome tampos, the number 19. There's actually another model that's very similar to this. It has a slightly different tampo design or decos on it, but this is a very classic full metal on metal rubber tire Greenlight piece, and it's just got all the wonderful details that you expect from a Greenlight, and I always thought they did the Mustang Boss 302 really, really well. And so this one's kind of a rare piece. You don't see this one come up very often. I kind of hunted it down back when I realized it existed, but a lot of the Australian race cars, stock cars, are super interesting and really worth checking out. So here's the back of that one. By the way, I forgot to mention earlier that this Melbourne Toy Fair exclusive 69 Ford Mustang Boss 302 is a pretty low number. It's number 201. And again, it's doesn't say how many were made on the package. So I don't actually know what the full number is. Some of you might know that and could put it in the comments, but 201. So it's not super low number, but it's not super high either, depending on how many they made, but I forgot to show that. Another kind of piece that from Greenlight that's not super rare, but was one of the more interesting ones that I thought was came out recently, relatively recently, is the Vintage Ad Cars series. This is from Series 1, and of course this is the Datsun 510 four-door, the number 90. This is from the Mexican Rally series, and it pairs it with a vintage ad. And of course, Greenlight has made 1,000 different variations of the 510 Rally, but I thought this was interesting because you get the sort of extra detail that you can see on the car. Sorry, the lighting is not quite as great as I'd like it to be. But really cool neon sort of green stripe and interesting decos that you don't normally see. It's really great in the package because it's paired with the vintage ad, so I've been hesitant to open it up. But you can kind of see the other cars in that series and a little more of the deco there on the back. I think this one might be numbered on the base, but I think they released a whole bunch of these, so these really aren't that limited, even though it says it is. So kind of a common piece, but still really cool. And then I don't think I have any more Greenlights here, but moving on to an M2. I don't collect much of M2, but I picked up this piece a few years back, and it's just been sitting in my storage case, but it's such a cool piece. It's a 73 Chevrolet Cheyenne Super 10, and it's the Colonel square body, and it's the first release of the square body that came without the bed. So it looks more like kind of a rat rod or a dragster version with the open hood and the really, really interesting engine details in there. And it's got the tan interior. They've re-released this with the bed. So there's a variation of it out now, but this was the first release of it, I think, in this colorway, and I think they've even released a 1/24 scale of this. But it's limited to 3,500 pieces or 3,600 pieces. And it's a really cool piece. It's also one of these ones that you can open up and take out of the package, and you don't damage the package, which again is really a plus for me as a collector, because then I can enjoy it loose and put it back in the package if I want to protect it. And this one has, I think I've taken this out of the package to look at it up close, but it's back in its original state here. So that's a really cool piece, especially if you're into the square body different models that have been coming out in M2 and Auto World. And speaking of Auto World, I've got some more of the sort of Cheyenne Chevy square bodies. This one in particular, another collector piece from CS Customs, Chris Stengler. This is a special edition, one of 2016, and it's the 1975 and 74 Chevy pickups with the flatbed trailer. And I just love the sort of barn find look of this step side here. Really incredible yellow and just sort of primed out details here, different wheels and tires, and kind of rusted out top there. I just love these vehicles. As you know, if you follow my channel, I love the Johnny Lightning projects in progress, and any of these kind of unique details that make a car look weathered or that's been sitting outside for a really long time and is ready to be restored. Really love those kinds of series, but this one actually comes with of course, a stock or restored fleet side. But this was a very exclusive release from Auto World. And if you look on the back here, you can see it's the first time Auto World has paired two vehicles and a trailer in one package, and the dirty version of the 74 step-side pickup is an Auto World first. So I guess this is the first time they did kind of a dirty version of the pickup here. And you can sort of see here they split it up. There was a CPCC version, I guess maybe a convention version that is a little bit different from the CS Customs version, which has the tampo on the truck, and the more, I guess, a dirty version of the thing. So there's 1,512 of this particular version, which is the CS Customs version with the tampo and the step side that is kind of a boneyard barn find version. Super cool. I could look at this all day. It just needs to go to a home where it'll be appreciated even more. Speaking of Auto World, I've got a couple of other Auto World pieces here. Let's start, as we're talking about the square bodies, this one here, Mississippi Barn Finds. Again, this weathered series that Auto World started doing with the Cheyenne pickups, or the square body pickups. So cool. All of these really unique details of rust and dust and weathering on the metal, on the top there, on the hood. Just a lot of really wonderful detail. And this one is a little more slammed to the ground. Just beautiful stuff here. 1973 Chevy Cheyenne fleet side. And again, it always is worth, you know, considering keeping in the package when the card art is the exact you know, rendition of the car that you're getting. Sometimes you don't get that, but in this case it, you know, it really looks good, and it's only one of 1,248, so it's a pretty rare run of the Mississippi Barn Find. They've been doing these state by state. I think there's an Alabama Barn Find and other states where you can find sort of different weathered versions of these trucks, and I think it's such a great idea to do that this way. So there's the back of that. This is a surplus goodies special edition release, and you can usually find these trucks in the restored version as well as the unrestored, and then you can sort of pair them together, which is also a really cool idea. A couple more of these that I have. I actually have two of these. This is not a Barn Finds. I think this was a special edition from the Muscle Trucks series of Auto Worlds. You can see there. Again, one of 2496, saying that this is the first release of the 81 Chevy Silverado to use the optional quad headlight front grille, which is really cool detail. These others of the in the 70s had the circular headlights, and so this must be the first release of the quad square headlights and that really cool grille there. One of the things I don't like about showing things in the package is it's harder to show detail. It's much more fun to get them out of the package to show you all the really up close details, but this one deserves it for sure. But I just love all of the weathering, the rust. You even have in the bed there, I don't know if you can tell, my light's not great, but you can see it's the raw die cast in the bed there. And then it's got the updated wheels, the chrome wheels, all the same tires, so it just looks like a, you know, kind of a slammed hot rod version of this square body. And so I have two of these. I don't know how I ended up with two of them. I may have just decided to order two at the time, thinking I might crack one and keep one in the package. So both of these will be up on the auction block. There's the back of that in case you want to check it out. I could have started a whole square body collection. Of course, that's why they've been releasing so many, because they're so popular. They're such cool trucks, and they've been doing such a good job with all these different variations and really unique details, which I think makes them more desirable than just, you know, releasing the same truck over and over again with just different tampos. So I've got one more Auto World to show you that I think is a pretty desirable piece. I haven't seen it out there much lately, but it's the Vintage Racing 65 Ford GT. It's in the Gulf livery. It doesn't actually have any Gulf tampos on it, but it's got the kind of Gulf baby blue color on it, and it's the #1, and it's also the dirty version, which again, you know, this used to be my weakness. If you had Vintage Racing and a dirty version of it, it was like, wow, it doesn't get any better than that. So again, it's really hard for me not to crack this open and put it in the case, but it's only one of 2,400. It's a special edition dirty version of the 65 Ford GT. Comes in the, you know, of course it's true 1/64 scale. It comes in the plastic shell with the collector box inside. This one, if you open it up, there's no getting it back in the original case without some damage, so I just haven't opened it up. But it doesn't really get much better than this in terms of vintage racing, so it's hard for me to let go of, but I know somebody out there is probably wanting to have this in their collection. There's the back of that one. This was an M&J Toys exclusive release, as you can see there. But that's just a beautiful, beautiful, even though it's dirty, I still think it's a beautiful piece. I think that's all of the Auto World that I have. There's a few other pieces here. Hot Wheels. This one, which is not super rare, it's another 71 Datsun 510 of the Flying Customs variety. Not the original, of course, but the more updated version. This one is crisp on card and in a card keeper here, so it hadn't been opened at all. I can't remember where I picked this up from, but it's pretty pristine in the package. It's not very rare. You can find it pretty easily, so it's not super valuable or anything. But again, it's definitely one to have if you're a 71 Datsun 510 fan or enjoy the Flying Custom series, because the card art is fantastic and very simple white background with the kind of 70s typeface there. And then the car, it's just a very clean presentation that I like. The only thing I don't like about the Flying Customs is the new Flying Customs, that it comes on a plastic base, which, you know, I understand cost cutting and all that stuff. It still looks great in the display case, but just doesn't have that original, you know, the Hot Ones wheels that are usually have some suspension, and they're very, very fast cars. But on the new plastic versions, you can tell they've cut some corners in the functionality of the car. So, but it still looks great. Love the tampos, love the metallic sort of citrusy color on that one. Anyway, so if you're looking for one of those in a car keeper in a crisp condition, that's going to be up for sale. This other piece here, it's only Johnny Lightning I'm going to be selling in the package, usually because I open all my Johnny Lightnings, but this is the Demolition Derby series, and there's two versions of this. I actually got the salmon colored version and cracked it open and put it in my display case, but I decided to keep this one in the package. And again, Demolition Derby is one of the coolest series that Johnny Lightning has been doing over the past many decades. Limited edition, one of 3,000, and I love the color on this one. It's called the Cheapest Possible Derby Green. It's a really nice, funny touch there. But of course, you get the collector card that shows the car behind it in the color that you get, and it's the '76 Dodge Aspen, which is also kind of not a very common car that you see being released. But Johnny Lightning always had some of these more rare, interesting. The tampos on this are just fantastic. Love the color, love the detail. The wheels with the paint stripes across them, different color, white on the back and orange on the front. Just doesn't get any better than that. Johnny Lightning just has always done a fantastic job with those. And here's the back of that card in case you're interested to see what came in that series. But yeah, I'm going to let this one go in the package as well. So I have some Hot Wheels I want to show you that I also have. This one is not super rare. This one is the Mercedes-Benz 300 SEL 6.8 AMG. It's the sort of rally version of this, which is really strange, but it's a really cool release from Hot Wheels car culture, and I think it's pretty easy to track down, but it's just a really interesting variation of this particular model. And of course, vintage racing has been my focus, so of course I have this in the collection. But it's, again, the card art is so great, I just haven't brought myself to crack it open. And here's the other cars in that series, or in that set. Again, this one's not super rare, but if you needed to pick this one up and want to grab it from the Motorhood, it's going to be up and available. And then some RLC cars that I have. I actually have two of these 41 Willys gassers that were part of the RLC selection series. I've shown this one in another video. We cracked it open and looked at it up close with a couple of other 41 Willys gassers. These are just super rad vintage cars with incredible decos, and they just look fantastic. This one has the Hoosier tire thick tire in the back, and then this beautiful blue spectral flame. I show this up in detail on one of my previous videos if you haven't seen it up close. But the card art is also fantastic, and it comes in its own, of course, car keeper if you're familiar with the RLC. And if you're not, the Selection Series is, if you were a member of the Hot Wheels Collectors Redline Club, you could vote for what you wanted to see made, and so these were kind of made to order. So they're limited edition, but there's a lot of them out there, and I'm not sure the exact number that they end up making. I'm sure it's in the tens of thousands, but super shiny Spectra Flame, beautiful stuff. So there's going to be 2 of these that are going to be available, and then finally one more RLC selections piece is the 55 Chevy Bel Air Gasser from the 2019 Selection Series. Again, these were kind of made to order, so there's a lot of them out there. They're not super rare, but the card art is fantastic. The quality of the rubber tires, the Spectra Flame sort of goldish paint with the white top there. Hard to beat, and especially if you're a Bel Air Gasser fan and don't have this in your collection, you might want to pick that up. But again, they're not individually numbered to my knowledge, just because they were sort of made to order. So there's probably quite a few of them out there, but still worth having if this is something you like to collect. And before I go, I'll just show you these. These are super common, but these are ones that I decided I was not going to collect, and then of course I ended up buying a few of these, and I just don't have room for the hauler trucks, but I've been loving the cars. But I'm going to go ahead and let some of these go in the package, and of course these are pretty easy to find these days. They released a lot of them, but just thought I'd show them really quick. The Nissan Skyline GT with the Sakura Sprinter here with the Advan tampos. I don't remember from Team Transport. Of course, the 71 Datsun 510 actually became a peg warmer for a while. I remember seeing tons of these on the pegs when this was released, trying to catch up with the demand for the 510 Datsun, and at some point it just got to be saturated with them. But this is still a really cool collector piece if you're into that and haven't picked one up for some reason. If you're just starting out collecting, or if this is something you just didn't ever pick up. Lots of these were out there. This one also, the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTX with the Sakura Sprinter. The card art on these is really what is amazing, and I hate to open these up and separate the car from all of this great the truck and the packaging, because the artwork is fantastic. This one, the Comet Racing, the Cyclone on top of the Ford C800, really unique piece there, which the truck itself is a collector item, I think, and the card art on that one is fantastic. And then finally, one of my favorite new, sort of relatively new models that Hot Wheels has been doing is the Lancia Rally 037 in the Euro hauler here. So of course this is extra desirable, I guess, if you're a Golf collector. But the artwork, the Tampa work, the choice of cars, pretty cool series. But I just, since I mostly crack open everything, it's been hard for me to figure out what to do with all these trucks, and I just don't have a way to display them. So I'm going to go ahead and let these go as well, but you've probably seen those a million times. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed checking out these cars in the package here. Normally we're cracking and yakking and opening these up and putting them in the display case, but these have been sitting in the box for way too long, and I think it's time for another collector to enjoy them. So going to be letting them go, and if you're interested, you can check them out on eBay at Jasper49. If you're watching this video around the time it was made, you might get your hands on one of these pieces from the Joe Motorhood. But if you missed the window, you can still follow me there if that's something you're into. I will be putting up some more stuff on eBay in the coming weeks and months, just because I've been doing some downsizing here in the Motorhood. So if you want to own a piece of the Motorhood, keep an eye out on eBay there. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed checking out the cars, and I really appreciate you watching the videos and even checking out the old videos. And I'm still watching a lot of you guys' videos as well. So keep on motoring, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.